Record to the cloud. There we go.
Excellent. Thanks, Nathaniel.
You're welcome.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first SEQP ham-sized Zoom conference of 2024. Hopefully be one of many, because we got a lot of good things going on between now and the eclipse, and we're starting to plan for after the eclipse too. So I think we'll all have interesting things to do and work on for quite some time. Let me throw the agenda up on the screen real quick. Let's see. Hopefully that's visible. Yeah. Get all the. I never know if all this nonsense from Zoom is showing up on my screen or not. Is it just the
I see it. Everything.
just the agenda, but how about all the participants and all this other nonsense from Zoom? Get that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
All right. Ed's got a lot of good stuff to fill us in on. A lot of things we're working on.
Yeah, and I'll just work off your slide here, Gary. So yeah.
Okay.
Hi everybody. So if the background, for those who are late, the background looks different. The QTH here is in Florida now. So I'm a Floridian. Actually, I've got a Florida driver's license already. So anyway, just a little bit in terms of what's going on, over the holidays and that. First off is, actually, let me just do press release first, Gary, because that obviously over the holidays, we moved the press release regarding Phil Erickson and his promotion at Haystack, which a lot of the services picked up and ran twice because Haystack ran it as well too. So that was a really nice plug for us going forward. And then we also got a brief release out that if you're taking a look, and Mackenzie got it up on the Facebook page, just in terms of call for workshops, and I'll do a couple seconds on that later. But just obviously a reminder, that we're here for you, in advance of the April eclipse, and if you want some background on that, obviously to reach out for us, and we'll put you on our podcast schedule. We've actually gotten some responses from that. I think we've taken 4 or 5 workshops just in the last couple of days, which is really, really nice. So, the piece on QRZ seemed to have pulled a little bit for us, and that's nice. So that piece is up and running. We also did I got out a mailing this week to contest clubs, just as a reminder that the QSO party is coming up, and here's how you could do it, and a link back to the website, which we said we were going to do prior to the holidays, and that piece has gone out. Just trying to think of other things here that we've got going. In terms of presenters, obviously, we're looking to do club meetings, hamfests, and, just anybody else who wants to be able to jump in. In terms of where we are, in terms of magazine articles, we've got a story scheduled for CQ. Rich Moseson promises us, quote unquote, in quotes, that there will be a December/January issue. And if not, we can release the story and move it somewhere else. So CQ is done, thanks to Gary. Story for Spectrum Monitor is in play. QST, Mackenzie is doing that story as well. And we were just talking a little bit about deadlines, so that, obviously it gets in. We're looking in terms of March or April. And then we've gotten a story in terms of National Contest Journal as well too. One other piece, just sort of close to deadline today, is that I spoke to RAC, Radio Amateurs of Canada, today. I dropped a note earlier this week to Alan Griffin, who is their coordinator, and I just sort of maybe either missed the email, or he's traveling overseas and not reading his email. But I was a little concerned that I hadn't gotten back, that I had not heard back from them regarding a story or some sort of play, which we had talked about coming out of October. But I did get some assurance today from the RAC staff that we will either get some sort of a long blurb or possibly a story in the March-April edition of the Canadian Amateur. So I'm waiting to hear back from Alan, who's in Europe right now, to get back to me just specifically as to what we're going to be doing with that going forward. We also, at the PR meeting last night, the ARL PR meeting, we're now a regular feature in terms of the monthly program. We talked a little bit about what we're going to be doing in terms of using, sort of all the groups IO pieces that ARL has at its disposal. And Sierra Harrop, who's the PR person for the league, got back to me today to say that they are going to get a mention. We're going to get a mention in this week's bulletin, just regarding sort of a reminder that if you're interested in a workshop from us, and don't forget the SEQP. So, that's a real nice play for us going forward. I'm just, obviously a lot of the other items, Gary, I think we're going to talk about with Hamcation and all that. So, I mean, that's basically where we are. I mean, it seemed like it was quiet, but, obviously we've gotten a lot of things in play. And what's really nice too, in terms of the popular press things, it looks as though everywhere where we want to be right now, we're going to be, and we can obviously move the CQP somewhere else if we need to, depending on what happens with them. So anyway, Gary, that's my report, WX2R.
All right, great, Ed. Thanks very much. I did get an update from Ron Wilcox, the spectrum monitor piece. He's going to begin working on that this afternoon. He's had a lot of work obligations, he'll start working on it this weekend, which will be fine because I think it's a virtual publication, so they don't have the deadlines that the print publications do. So
yeah,
we'll
can I just jump back on one last item that I'm looking at the card, I didn't see it. One thing that we did talk about a couple of weeks ago was sort of a partnering with observatories. Mary Lou was shaking her head, so I've looked up and there you are. Okay, Mary Lou is working on a list in terms of looking at observatories that are in the area of totality that we might be able to partner amateur radio clubs with observatories. I have mentioned that at a couple of meetings that I've done, even last night, and I've gotten a couple of bites from guys who work with observatories on Long Island, in South Carolina. Obviously, the piece down here in South Florida with the Cox Science Center. We mentioned earlier the work with Binghamton. Dayton has shown an interest going forward. And so, we're going to pursue it. Okay. Obviously, Mary Lou, mentioned to me that she's going to get a list over in the next couple of, we didn't talk about that, next couple of days, I guess, right? I guess just the deadlines. Yeah, we're laughing. And from there, I can pair that up with the club list, amateur club list, and see if we can just link people together. At least, to reach out to maybe do some joint efforts and maybe some promotion and sharing ideas. I know Binghamton had a lot of ideas regarding how they wanted to partner with the observatory. Oh, it's a Copernic, right? If my memory serves.
Copernic, yeah.
Yeah, Copernic. In that area too. So we can actually do maybe like a real short, like sort of newsletter as to how to tie you and an observatory together around the event and see how it goes. So no harm, no foul, as they say. So that's back to you, Gary. Sorry.
Okay, no, good. That information is we basically kind of just sketched out a club activities page in the website. We really haven't made it public, so to speak, but that kind of thing should probably go on there. Mackenzie's got a flyer around the SEQP we should put up there, and then the other kind of general flyer that I developed a couple of months ago should go on there too. So at least this stuff all kind of fits together. So yeah, it's good that you guys are working on that. On the QST article, Mackenzie, is that we were going to try and get that done? Was it by the end of January, Ed? I know you, with your school schedule and stuff, you tell us how you're doing, because I know that's got to be your priority, school.
I'm working on it now. You said the deadline is next month, right?
Yeah, I would imagine in terms of looking at whether they're going to run it, obviously ahead of April, is that I would say February would really be a good date to get stuff to get copy over to them. So
Right. Yeah, I'm working on that article now. And as soon as it's done, I'm going to send it to you so you can proofread it and let me know if that's what you want. And if not, I will make edits quickly and we'll get it off. But
Okay.
I'll put that first because the first week of school shouldn't be too crazy. So I'll make sure to kind of put that as a priority.
Yep.
And get it done.
Okay, I know, Ed, you'd been in contact with Becky Schoenfeld, the QST editor.
Yeah.
Have we gotten back to her? Let her know this is coming, or is this? I don't want to be a surprise.
Boy, that's a gap here. So yeah, I can reach back out to Becky. Okay, just to make sure that we close the loop.
Okay, yeah, because Becky had been the one that suggested kind of a reprise of the 2016 article on how to participate, and let her know that's what'll be coming, and that we were all prepared. So
yeah, good enough. Yeah, we'll do.
And if you can confirm the dates with her too, because Mackenzie's going to put all this work into it. I don't want it to be late, and then
and actually, we could do a quick search on the website because their close dates for QST should be somewhere, just in terms of like copy close and ad close, that type of thing.
Okay, yeah, if you two could get together in that'll be fine.
Yep.
That'd be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So let's see. I said Ron's working on his, and the National Contest Journal article, basically kind of how to participate in a GSSC. I entitled it "Contesting via One-Way Signals, ellipse, ellipse, ellipse during an eclipse." And the NCJ editor came back yesterday, said he's accepted it. And Nathaniel, I did remember to put the attribution there to all of our organizations and funding grant sources in there. I did remember that. So once in a while
Thank
that clicks. Yep. So good. Okay. All right. I think that takes care of the PIO stuff. Gary, there in Kentucky, I know you've been talking about traveling to some Hamfest and doing quite a bit last year. Do you have any plans for the next couple of months this year, or are you gonna what's going on?
I was waiting for that. Yes, March 2nd, I'm going to Cave City for the Cave City Ham Fest in Kentucky. It's a pretty good size Ham Fest because it's a tourist attraction for Cave City, so a lot of people come anyway. So I've already got a table for that. I've been working with the Astronomy Club in Madison County. They usually do stuff out of the Hummel Planetarium in Richmond, Kentucky, on the campus of the Eastern Kentucky University. Well, the planetarium is being rebuilt, remodeled, so they want to do the total eclipse. They want to do that outside somewhere near the planetarium or something, but somewhat undercover in case it rains, because they want to bring their telescopes outside that they have. And I talked to them about doing a presentation or of a slideshow presentation to tell them what we're doing and see if we can jump in there and help out. And if some of them are ham operators, they can help out. Also, I've talked to Madison County School District, and they have a STEM program, Madison County, and then the STEM program they also have in the community school district here within the city of limits of Berea. One of the administrators is my next door neighbor, so I got a good tight in on that. And I have been talking with the STEM teachers about the students, offering them ham to study, basically get their technician license. And they think it's a great idea to, I'm a VE, member of our clubs are VE, we can get the test, no problem. Or they could do it online with W5YI or something. But the idea is that they do the test, they get their technician's license, they get credit for it. They also get the understanding, they become a ham. We bring another young ham into the fold. Most of them that seem interested are the high school students. And if they go for like general, they'll get more extra credit. But at the same time, they want me to do a presentation of what basically ham radio is. Some people think it's the Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, dinner and ham. They have no idea. But I told them that I would bring my table, my tablecloth, all my little good stuff and a presentation, and also bring a handheld for our repeaters here in Madison County, and bring my HF radio with a antenna to set up and just see if we can make some contacts, get their interest in it. And they're looking forward to it. And I've also been in contact with some other ham clubs, Rockcastle County, and also in Danville has got a club over there. They're kind of hard to get into. It's kind of like a little tight niche. but I've been working the area that's all around me here. For, like I said, for Cave City, I've got their setup is 6 in the morning. So that's if you arrive the day of the Hamfest, and 6 p.m. at night if you go before. So we're going to go down and get a hotel. It's about it's about maybe 2.5 hour drive from me or something like that. So it's easier to go get a hotel set up at 6 o'clock at night rather than 6 o'clock next morning. And but their participation is around they said about 2,500 people come through. So I've been trying to hit them here and there where I can, and I'm very surprised the amount of people that don't respond. You send emails off, never hear from them again. But the school system and STEM program, they're very interested because it involves giving credit for doing something like getting their license. So.
Okay, it sounds like you've got a few irons in the fire then. That's good to hear. All right, great. Any questions for Gary? We'll move on a little bit. Good. Thank you for the efforts. Get planning ahead too. That's important. All right. The next thing I wanted to jump into is one, I wanted to let everybody know the results for the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge. The write-up is complete. I got a couple of comments to fold into it, and I think I would like to announce that on the Hamside Google group tomorrow, and find an appropriate place to put it on the website. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about the GFCC or GSSC rules today. I've got a question about the FTA participation on that. I've got a suggestion, see what everybody thinks. So let me share my screen and jump over to the Hamside website, because that's going to be the focus for the next couple of minutes. There we go. Let's see. Don't need that. Yeah. Okay, so here was our primary page for the FAQs for the GSSC, and there's a second page that contains the rules for the event. What I think we need to add, and I'm open to ideas, and I like to hear people's thoughts, is how we want to promote the results, because the results write-up I've got right now is about 10 pages long. It's only about a page and a half of text. There's about 4 pages of charts with scores on them, and then 2.5 pages of photographs and some soapbox, some equipment information from the participants. So it's pretty much the typical contesting write-up with a little bit of everything in it. But the whole thing is 10 pages. So anyhow, so I'm not sure if people's thoughts are if we want to create a separate page for that and link it from these 2 areas. Put the link on the home page as well. Open to thoughts on how we want to present the results.
Would it
And
make sense if you go to hamside.org/eclipse, would it make sense to have a results section over there?
Yeah, let's see. Right,
And then
because
we
we're going to have other events, right?
Gonna get tricky because then there's also, we have results for all the different events. And then we're also going to have both scientific results and like ham radio results. So like what you wrote up, I feel like is more like ham radio results. I think
Sure,
Ward
of
has.
course.
I suggest that since we're starting to have a lot of on-the-air activities, we differentiate between on-the-air events and everything else. So it's like the ARL has a contests page, even though there are lots of other on-the-air events. So now that we're starting to have these things regularly, and let's break them out. And I would say on the air or on the air events. I wouldn't necessarily say contests, since that gives people a kind of a more specific idea than I think is warranted. But and then in-person events, something else. I'm not sure of the wording at the moment, but I would definitely have a special group for on the air stuff and off the air stuff.
I could see that working, and that would help with the separation between the amateur radio related activities versus the scientific results.
Well, typically, once from the regular amateur community is once you have a contest, you look in the contest area for the results. So any event like the solar eclipse QSO party or whatever, the results should be packaged with the announcement and guidelines and all that kind of stuff. There's a sub page perhaps, or whatever, but keep the results with the event so that people, it makes them easy to find. we love our text, you know, we're real texty. But if people have to go looking for stuff, they'll give up. Also, it's easier when you're publishing a press release or something like that, to have one high-level URL. Say, look for the Solar Eclipse QSO party results at hamsci.org/SEQP or /events/SEQP.
Good afternoon.
And then if you rearrange
Excuse me.
stuff, and then if you rearrange stuff underneath it, it doesn't break the top level link.
Always make it easier to find, right?
In theory.
I'm taking some notes while you're talking. Yeah, I could see if, as you say, if we have an on the air page, it's pretty easy. Just right below that, we could just list the operating events as they occur, keep them in chronological order, break them out by type or style or some such thing. But at least that one top level page would everybody would be I don't know what the word is. I call it a durable link. It'll stay there. It'll stay put. It wouldn't change from time to time. And there's no reason we couldn't link that, back there on the Eclipse page and on the FAQ pages and stuff, link back to that top level.
Yeah, oh, sure. Cross links within the site are just fine. Just make it easy for a person outside the main page to go, oh, the results are out. Bam, get there.
I think too that we've got these nice, the quick links on the home page as well. We can, at least for a period of months, we can put the results up here because hopefully people will be looking for them before the next event.
Yeah, on the NCJ website, for example, when preliminary results or final results get published, there's a link on the home page. Say, hey, the results are out, and then after a while it gets taken down. And but during that first flurry of interest, it's nice to have something on the home page.
I think that would work well too, because when stuff goes out on social media, it would be nice to have a consistent link to point everything back to. And because the social media stuff tends to last forever. If somebody looks at something a month from now or 2 months from now, you want that link to still be working, as you said. Nathaniel, what comments do you have towards ideas?
We're doing the cross-linking and also having kind of a separate section.
Yeah, basically an on-the-air events landing page, so to speak.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think right now we're very focused on the Eclipse. So I think right now, rather than build out a whole new page at the moment, if we just keep everything focused on the hamsci.org/eclipse and we make the results easy to find there, I think that's good. And then I also think we should have it on, I think it should be cross-linked from the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge page itself. I know that I spoke with Gareth earlier today, and I think did you get a chance to meet up with him before this?
Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah. So I know he has ideas of doing more on the air events in the future. And maybe after the Eclipse, if those ideas come to pass, then we start building out another on the air page. I'll be back in a minute. You keep talking.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, maybe what I can always do is we could start small and just have the stuff linked from the Eclipse page, as Nathaniel said, and then on the test site, I can when I get some free time, start looking at the on the air type of page the Ward suggested, and we can get some comments on that from the test site. And send that link out to people, everybody can see it and see what comes back. One of the things I was thinking about doing too, I know we've got a lot of technically minded people that follow us, obviously, is not only give the results from the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge, but just kind of a brief flavor of some of the techniques or efforts that went into culling the data. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting, like I think the PSK reporter site for the 10 or 12 hours of the contest, there was something like 124 million lines of data in those files that had to be gone through. So it just gives people a little scope of what we're looking at.
Can I break in for a minute?
Sure.
Real quick question and an important announcement. Ward, did you write this book?
Which edition is that?
This one is the 9th edition.
Well, most of it. Yeah, all three are like 95% my stuff. And then they've added some material for the new questions. What did I do?
Thank you. It helped. I just I took an online VE session and got my general just about 10 minutes ago.
Just now.
All righty.
So the book helped a lot. So I just wanted to crash the mean to say that. So I don't want to keep you guys any longer. But thank you for the book.
You're quite welcome.
Congratulations, Rachel.
Well, it's nice to know that she not only gives the exam, but she takes them as well. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. She just found out she was taking it online in the other room. So
That's breaking news, as they say, right, Ed?
that's sweet.
All right, I'll take the notes I've got. We'll start small and just to link this stuff from the Eclipse page. And meanwhile, on the test site off to the side, we'll start thinking about something bigger that we can grow from in the future. And that works for me. Let's see. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge a little bit is we made very little mention. In fact, there was just one brief mention of FT8 and the GSCC SSC rules. And I think that was, go ahead.
I forget in Gladstone, in your results, did you also explain who Philip Gladstone is and why it's called that?
I might not have done it in the results. I did it in the NCJ article.
Okay. It might be good to mention in the results too, because people may not know. Okay.
So as I was looking at the results and stuff, I mean, obviously we kind of wanted people to focus on the so-called propagation experimenting modes, Whisper and FST4W. And by far, I mean, that was like 95% of the entries were people operating those two modes, which is what we wanted. We did get one entry where a person came in and entered and I had to dig through and find their FT8 receiving records, and they had tens of thousands, which was great. But one of the things I said in the write-up is that we didn't really focus on FT8 that much, because we kind of sort of want the FT8 folks to be operating in the SEQP, to be getting on the air, making contacts. And while they're doing that, if they've got their software configured properly, they're sending the data off the PSK reporter, and we are collecting it. So I was trying to, in my mind, the last 2 months, I've been trying to think about a separation between the SEQP, which is CW, sideband, FT8 for the most part, and then the GSSC, which is more of the Whisper and FST4W type of thing. So what I would like to do when I'm proposing is I take a quick look at the rules and modify them slightly to remove basically any references to FT8 from the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge. We can bring them up on the screen and see where they're at right now. Because the other thing is if we had pick a number, a couple of hundred FT8 operators all entered the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge. I mean, that it kind of, we might kind of lose the emphasis or the visibility to some of the other neat modes like Whisper and FST4W. I mean, FT8 gets plenty of press. It's a great mode and there's lots of people on it. But we kind of wanted to, I think we wanted to keep them more on the SEQP type of stuff. I don't know if anybody any thoughts about that, or I'm going to take a look at the rules real quick and see what's going on.
Jumping back on FT8 real fast, the January QST. So that's the cover.
Let's see. Yep.
So they're jumping into FTH. So
no, it's a tremendously popular mode. You look at the number of updates and uploads in the logbook of the world that are FT8 versus everything else, and it's tremendously popular. There's no question about it.
Sorry about that. My phone is going crazy here. The club log uploads, typically 65% of all uploads on an average week are FT8 uploads. Add FT4 to that, so you've got 70%, maybe a little bit higher. Unless there's a big CW contest or sideband, and on extremely rare conditions, a big RIDI contest. That's where the activity is. That of course, is not a scientific assessment of how many contacts are made each week, but it's a really good representation. So I think it's important and valuable to include FT8 as one of the modes that people can use for the event.
So that the point's well taken, Bill, and I think we want to continue to emphasize FT8 for the Solar Eclipse QSO party, where people are getting on the air, making QSOs, adding to the data that's out there, while as they're receiving all those FT8 signals in the background, all the people they're not talking to, that stuff is still flowing over to PSK Reporter, and that's still creating valuable research data.
Yeah. So basically, you're proposing that FT8 transmissions just be in the SEQP, but the FT8 reception would still count towards people who are fielding automated receivers.
Well, not quite. I'm suggesting we even take the automated receiver portion out of the GSSE, because pretty much everybody is an FT8 receiver, right? If you just start up FT8.
Yeah, I think, so, okay, so just say if you're an FT8 operator, you're in the SEQP. If you're not an FT8 operator, if you're Whisper, if you are FST4W, you're in the Signal Spotting Challenge.
Right.
I think I like it. And that way, I mean, no one, like the FT8 operators are still part of everything. It's just they're in the actual SEQP.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I say, plus the FT8 numbers are enormously large, and they would just swamp the Whisper and the FST4W folks who are making a tremendous contribution, and they're doing some really neat stuff technically. You'll see some of the pictures in the write-up of the beacon blasters that Rob and others are promoting. So I think I'd like to give those technically minded folks they're doing it in the GSSC. So I think that's great. If we got agreement on that, I'll clean up that one little bit of the rules and make that clear in the future. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Any other discussion on our upcoming operating events? That's all I had on on our Eclipse events at the moment. I did have a question in. I know Steve Serwin could not join us today. I just sent Steve a note. I just want to make sure that he is planning on continuing the TDOA work in April. Because again, it's been part of it. You know, it was a big part of what we did in October, and I'm hoping he continues in April. But I just want to make sure of that so the website's up to date and that sort of thing. So Steve will get back to me on that, I'm sure. Because I'm also working on the standardized presentation. Ed was talking about as we're getting a longer and longer list of clubs and presentations and that sort of thing. I want to make sure I've got all the right stuff covered in that standardized presentation. Okay. Let's talk about the Orlando Hamcation. I know there's two of us on the call are going to be there manning the ham side booth. Ed, I know we discussed in the past, it kind of made sense to if there's anything we need to ship to be used in the booth, if we could send it to your place
Yep.
and then you could drive it up, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because I'm about 2 hours. So as long as
What,
I can sort of pre-assemble everything.
Yeah, so the only thing I can think of, Nathaniel, I think we should have one of our Hamsai table banners or something for the Hamcation booth in the front of our table.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So like, when is Hamcation? It's
February 8th, I think it starts.
Yeah.
okay. So I have a little time to get it to you. All right. Yeah, I have them here. So you want the big and the small banners, I guess.
Well, the other thing I'm going to have is the posters I had used both at Dayton and at the NASA Citizen Science Activation thing. So we'll have some of those for the back of the booth.
Yeah. So yeah, I can get these shipped to you. I think what I'll do though is I'll have it. Salisa comes back next week, so I'll have Salisa work on getting it packed up and shipped over to you.
Yep, and I'll get you my new coordinates. So this way you have
Okay,
them.
yeah. So if you send me an email to remind me.
Yep.
And yeah, but that's good. We have a little bit of time to get that to you.
Yep. Yeah, and then Gary, I'm just sort of thinking out loud here is that maybe you and I, and if anyone else is planning on attending, maybe we do a quick parking lot meeting, regarding just things that we think about so we don't forget anything. So what's the booth look like, that type of thing. So
Right, and I'll create one of those online schedulers because both I'm not sure if Tapper is having a table there or not. I kind of suspect not, but I may ask Dave KV0S if Tapper is going to have a presence there, because those guys would be welcome to hang out with us too, obviously, if they don't.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was at the AGU meeting, they had this big like floor banner that NASA made up for the Eclipse, and it was something that we could potentially, they had like an area where you could put your project in there too. We could potentially get one of those made up as well. I could probably send you the template and then you could work on modifying it, and then we could, probably get it printed and charge that to the grant. And I think we might be able to have that done in time for Hamcation.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the information for that.
Yeah, we're looking at about 3 working weeks, that type of thing. So
Okay.
maybe 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I could turn around the graphics, the updates to it pretty quickly. And like say, Salisa's back next week and if the print shop folks are back next week, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
send it with the other banners.
Right. Yeah, because it was pretty nice. Yeah, here I found the a picture of it, and okay. Just have to remember. So this is what the banner looked like.
Okay.
And there's part of the, all right, so let me see if I can find out where that template comes from. And then I can get that to you.
Yeah, because the other thing is, you know, as you did with the Nathaniel with the booth presentations and talks and stuff, we don't necessarily have to put things in our booth. Sometimes if there's an entryway or something that gets a lot of public visibility, and we can sneak something up on the wall or something that
Yeah.
kind of expand our footprint a little bit surreptitiously. So
Yeah, I think, yes, absolutely. Future eclipses. I found it for the 2023 eclipse. What if I, so here's the link for the 2023 one, but we need the 2024 one. If I change this to, nope. So it's probably somewhere on this website over here. This is NASA's Eclipse website, which I think is mostly public facing. And it should have some resources. Eclipse Media Resources.
yeah, well, we met the Heat folks at in Virginia, so I can always reach out to them if I have to.
Yeah, it was Carolyn Eng.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, she
Yep.
was the one. So yeah, if you reach out to her and you want one of those one or two of those floor banners, you know, we could get those put together. Use them. We could use it at Hamcation. Then I can have it displayed here in Scranton for a while. And then we can also use it at the Hamsci workshop.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm not finding the link to it on here, but it's got to be there.
Yeah. Okay. I'll poke around for it. If not, I'll check with Carolyn. It should work.
That sounds great.
Good. Okay. Any other, Ed, yeah, you had a good point. If we get a couple of people signed up and if I hear from the Tapper folks, you're right, get together and toss some ideas back and forth and make sure we're prepared before the event. Good idea. All right. Okay. Let's see what else I had. Not too much. We've done quite a bit today.
I got a question for Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you heard anything regarding what the agency's working on since the beginning of December? I know you spoke with Scientific American, if I recall, right, as an interview.
Yeah. When you say what the agency is working
Yeah,
on,
yeah, at Scranton.
The PR agency.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't heard from them.
Yeah, I should drop a note. I'm just delinquent in doing that.
Yeah. We are planning on heading up to Ham Radio University on Saturday, so we should be there.
Is that is that similar to Contest University, or is it just more generalized, or?
It's a little more generalized. It's at Long Island University. I'll put a link in the chat to it. They have various forums all day long. They have a demo station. They have forums, demo station, things, ham radio exams, things like that. So it's kind of like a ham fest, but instead of being focused on selling things, it's more focused on forums.
Yeah, it's a really nice event.
Yeah.
And make sure I know you'll see him, but I think it's Ed's the new vice director for Hudson Division IUX. He is a good friend of Hamsci. In fact, I'm doing the Limark dog and pony next week for them. And he's a really good guy and a good supporter. So
Who is this?
I'll send you the lead.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the new Hudson Division Vice Director.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. And I used to go to this when I was younger. When I was just starting out as a ham radio operator, I'd attend this event. So it's kind of fun to be
I think about 500 people.
talking at it. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it should be really nice.
You have to picture Nathaniel as a wee pup. Yeah, that's it. That's, two other questions I've got while both I see Nick and Jonathan are both on the call. I think I know the answer, but I want to confirm it. As I was working on the standardized presentation, we're of course listing the various events that'll be happening for the April eclipse. And Nick, we'll be doing the AM monitoring again, right? That'll be continuing in for the April event.
Yeah, that's correct. We've got several of the people who participated in the 2023 eclipse actually are really more interested in doing this year's eclipse. So yeah, but we'll still be doing more publicity, try to get some more participants out of the woodwork.
Okay, that's perfect. That's what I want to know. And Jonathan, I'm sure you'll be monitoring the VLF station there in Springbrook too. So it's another thing I wanted to mention that we have the VLF activities will be continuing.
Yeah, I was thinking about the approach and how others can participate, and there's going to be a lot of variation if everybody uses their own hardware, and I kind of don't want that, because that might give it might give bad data or bad quality data. And I was thinking about it, and I'm not really sure what the answer would be, other than similar to grape receivers have a network of VLF receivers, but we don't have that currently yet. So I don't really know what the answer would be, other than to encourage people to monitor VLF stations if they could, and submit their qualitative data. But I don't really know what else we can do other than just submitting their, I'm because I was thinking about it, and I don't see an easy answer. Without a network of VLF receivers, it's hard to make sure that all the receivers are phase coherent, that their group delay and phase response, everything is pretty much the same. So I'm not really sure what the best approach would be. If anybody has any ideas, but what I'm thinking is that if people already monitor VLF transmitters, and they could provide qualitative data instead of quantitative data, then that might work.
Well, at the very least, we can at least mention the fact that there's interest in VLF, and people in Hamside that are monitoring VLF and looking at the science behind what's going on there. And if they want more information, they can always, they've got the Google group, they've got the Hamside email address, and we can always get people in touch with you, which gives us that opportunity. So I'll include it.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
And while you're on the call, I was looking at possible vacation sites this summer. My wife and I are thinking about going to Sweden, and I found that if we go to Gothenburg, which is one of the places we were looking at, you can actually travel to the SAQ, the Alexanderson site. It's a World Heritage site, and if you go there on a Saturday, they will set you up with a class and the safety equipment to climb the towers that are 127 meters tall. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I would. If you're in the area, I would highly recommend a visit, and definitely get a lot of pictures if you do go.
So yeah, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but when I saw that, I obviously immediately thought of you.
Yep.
But I can't imagine with all the lawyers we have in the States that anybody would be offering a tour 127 meters off the ground, but in the EU, they can get away with it. So good for them.
Yep.
So it's quite different. Different school of thought. All right. All right. Well, we've gone down the list of things I wanted to cover. Is there anything anybody else wants to bring up? Questions or recap of anything we've gone over?
Yeah, this is Bill, Kilo 8 Tango Echo. I'm going to spend a week out in Quartzsite, Arizona, out in the middle of the desert, at an event called Quartz Fest. Simply put, it's a place where old farts who drive RVs gather together and tell lies and stories about ham radio. And I'll be giving 5 presentations there. One of them is going to be about the solar eclipse coming up in April. So, in fact, I just modified my presentation for this Monday for a club in the Phoenix area. It added a slide for the solar eclipse party. So every presentation I'm going to do between now and April will have something about at least one mention of ham sci and come play, have a good time.
Nice. That's good
We
to
should
hear,
add
Bill.
those dates to our calendar as well, Bill. So
Yeah, it's been.
Hey, Ed. Hey, Ed, can you hear me?
yeah, Ron.
Hey, just real quickly on adding on to that is we've got the Rocky Mountain Ham Radio Convention this year. It rotates every 4 years to Colorado, New Mexico, etc. This year it's in Utah in St. George. I was asked and I accepted kind of unwillingly to be the chairperson over all of the presentations and the program and everything. And so I'm going to make sure that there will be a minimum of at least one presentation or some other things on ham sci and on the Eclipse and some things that we've learned from it at that convention. And then, of course, if anybody from ham sci is going, I will absolutely tap into their expertise or their time. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out.
Right, yep.
That's
Nice. I'll
in
follow you.
July.
Yep. Perfect.
I'll be there,
Okay.
Kate.
Let me make a note on that really quick. Are you going to do any try to do any presentations or just attending?
I'll do both, present and attend.
Okay, I'll put that on the list and reach out to you and ask you for some of your ideas and stuff. And I apologize, I'm running a little tired today. The call sign again, Kilo Alpha.
Kilo 8 Tango Echo.
That's right. That's right. All right. Sorry to take up the time. Thanks, Ed, and thanks.
No, that was perfect, Ron. I'm glad you were able to jump in here at the end and make that connection. That's a good thing. That's what we're here for, exactly. All right. Want to put a ribbon on it? We'll call it a week. Got a lot done today. I'm glad everybody, it sounds like, is back safe and sound from the holidays. I know some of you are probably still on holiday. Since I've been retired, I've lost track of, I mean, I know the actual days of the holidays, but I forget about how the holiday weeks and who's coming and going, what and where. So I guess that's a good thing from my point of view. So.
That all sounds great. I will not be here next week, so I will see everyone 2 weeks from now.
I don't know
Good.
about you, Gary, but ever since I retired, I find myself doing more than when I was working.
It's
yeah.
more, it's good to be busy.
My advice is don't retire, whatever you do. Keep working. Plus, you pay my Air Force retirement and Social Security. Thank you very much.
I don't know how I ever had time to go to work.
That's what my father always said, Ward.
Just one to-do list after
After
another.
another,
You
yep.
know, people didn't send me mail. I don't know how I would keep it all straight because I use the envelopes. Oh, well.
All right. Well, good. Thanks everyone for your input today. It was a lot of good discussion, a lot of ideas tossed back and forth, and a number of issues settled. So we can, those of us that are working on these things, we can all move forward and stuff. So, and thanks, Mackenzie, Gary, Ron, everybody else for your efforts in promoting what we're doing here. It's all paying off real well. I'm sure you can see all the press we're getting, and the fact that the league's partnering with us and that sort of thing. It's just the snowball's growing. It's going downhill and it's growing, and that's the way it should be. So,
Gary, could I kick in here V7DXR, Nick? Question for Nathaniel. You did an interview with Scientific American. Was that just preliminary to maybe them interested in doing an article, or is it some sort of public thing, a video, or what was it?
They had me do a phone interview, and I don't ever know what came out of that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm really not sure.
Okay, so it might have been a preliminary to some write-up, but it might not have been. That's sort of where it stands at the moment. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm uncertain.
Okay. We'll
my
keep an eye
guess
out
is-
for it. Just go ahead, Ron.
My guess is that it'll probably be at that beginning thing where it's like about the second or third article each month. They talk about
here you
somebody. They've talked
Found
about
it.
somebody that they've talked to, and I'm betting it'll be there.
There we go.
There you go. I'm all on the last paragraph.
Okay.
Sounds biblical.
The last two paragraphs are all ham radio.
Excellent.
good. I'll
So
have to add that
that's-
to our media hits. That's a big feather getting in Scientific American. So.
Yeah, well, and also you're on their press list, which is good. Okay, because as
Great.
things happen, they'll call you. So, which is always what you want to do. So,
Yes, that is very exciting. That's awesome.
Nice.
Great. Yeah, that came out a day ago, so it's timely.
yeah,
Cool.
we should move that on to Facebook, Mackenzie, if we can. Okay.
Mackenzie, are we going to see you next week? Are you starting your classes starting back up?
You'll see me next week.
All
You'll
right,
see me
good,
every
good.
week.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks again. Have a great week. And if we don't talk on the air, we'll see you next Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Everybody.
73 all.
everyone.